You've heard the term no-fault divorce, but what does it actually mean for the people going through it? This legal shift did more than simplify paperwork. Studies show its adoption led to a 30% drop in domestic violence. How can a single law have such a profound impact on safety and well-being inside the home? This system is now the standard in all states, yet its most powerful effects are often completely missed. We'll break down what no-fault divorce is, its hidden powers, the critical pitfalls, and why it matters so much. First, what was it like before? To get a divorce, you had to legally prove your spouse did something wrong. This forced couples into a public blame game and created an incentive for people to lie in court just to end a marriage. No-fault divorce changed everything. It introduced a neutral reason: irreconcilable differences. No one has to be the villain. The idea started in California in 1969. 40 years later, when New York signed on, it became the law of the entire land. The immediate benefits were clear: less animosity, which leads to faster proceedings and lower legal fees. So it's simpler and less combative. But what is the single most powerful and misunderstood feature of this law? This leads to a key question. What happens if one spouse wants a divorce, but the other absolutely does not? Under no-fault law, the divorce is unilateral. This means if one person says the marriage is broken, legally it is. This isn't a flaw, it's the core design. It prevents one spouse from trapping the other in an unsafe or unwanted marriage. So, to answer the question, you cannot be forced to stay married. Your spouse can object to the terms, but not the divorce itself. Interestingly, U.S. data shows that about 70% of these divorces are initiated by women. The system gives agency to the one who wants to leave. This sounds straightforward, but it leads to the biggest misunderstanding people have. Does no fault mean the divorce will be easy? The answer is a hard no, and this is precisely where people get into serious trouble. No fault only refers to the reason for the divorce. Uncontested means you agree on all the terms: assets, custody, and support. You can have a brutally contested no-fault divorce. You agree the marriage is over, but spend a year fighting over the house. Think of it this way: no fault is the key that opens the door. Uncontested is about what happens after you're through it. Now that we've cleared that up, let's get into the fine print. What are the rules that can complicate this process? First, it's not instant. Most states have mandatory waiting periods from a few weeks to over a year as a cooling off period. And here's a big twist: fault can still come back to haunt you. Misconduct like wasting assets can affect alimony or property division. Also, the decree that legally ends your marriage does not automatically settle your finances. These are two separate legal actions. Without a binding financial consent order, your ex-spouse could claim a stake in your assets years after you've separated. With these benefits and pitfalls in mind, let's return to our starting point. What was the real measurable impact on society? Critics feared this would open the floodgates and destroy marriage as an institution. Initially, divorce rates did spike, but long-term data shows no permanent effect. After the initial surge, national divorce rates actually fell for over 2 decades. But the most profound impact brings us back to our hook. The unilateral power to leave is what led to the drop in domestic violence and female suicide. So no-fault divorce wasn't a wrecking ball aimed at marriage. It was a critical escape hatch for people in untenable situations. This law is far more than a simple legal process. It's a powerful tool of personal autonomy with complex financial strings attached. Remember the key truths. One person can initiate it. No fault doesn't mean no fight. And you must get a separate financial order. Understanding this system is about understanding power dynamics, risks, and the real-world protections it offers. If this clarified things for you, share this video. You might help someone manage one of the most difficult times of their life.